Your shadow is the parts of yourself that you don't know, okay? But they govern every single thing you do. All right. I have a polyamory group. It's called the Center for Polyamorous Community and Education. It's on Facebook. And the link is in my profile. And this coming Sunday, I'm going to drop the information on Instagram. I'm going to be featured on a podcast. The podcast is called Studs Don't Cheat. It streams on Spotify and something else, okay? And we're going to be talking about relationships. It's a whole panel. It's not just me. So if you don't know about polyamory, even if you do, it's good to examine what words mean, right? And poly means more than one. Amory means love. It's simply the ability that you give yourself to, the ability that you give yourself to love more than one person. And we're going to talk about how do you go into that lifestyle, because you don't just choose that. You don't just go, okay, I want to do what I want to do. I'm poly. That's not what it is. I'm single and I don't want to be committed. That's poly. That's not what it is. A lot of people think because they're single and they date multiple people that they are polyamorous, and they are not. Okay? All right? That would be synonymous to me going in the gym, lifting weights, and calling myself a bodybuilder. I am not a bodybuilder. Yes, I have lifted weights, but I do not live the lifestyle, and so I am not a bodybuilder, right? So that's synonymous to saying, because I'm single, I'm polyamorous, or because I cheat, I'm polyamorous. That's two different ball games, okay? So to be polyamorous in a healthy way, you got to have some key belief systems, okay? Some key belief systems. And I haven't always been polyamorous. I've been a very toxic individual, okay? I got stories upon stories, okay? I've been a very toxic individual. And I didn't always believe the things that I believe now. I grew into them after allowing myself to set aside my conditioning, all the stuff I've learned about relationships, and take on a framework that works for me, okay? So I understand the emotions of jealousy and insecurity, right? All right. And polyamory is not even about sharing, okay? And we're going to get into that in a minute, because people think I have to share my person. It's not even about sharing, because that indication is that that person is yours and you're allowing someone else to. And that's not how we navigate polyamory. So it's good that you feel like that. That's a monogamous mindset. And I don't believe that everybody needs to be poly. I think some people are monogamous and they should be monogamous. And I think some people are poly and they should be poly. Okay. All right. So with that being said, don't forget to join my group if you're interested. I go live, post videos and things in there. And I have another coach that I work with in there as well, who is my best friend. All right. So the first thing, if you want to move into poly, you got to believe this. Okay. This is what you got to believe. And I don't mean know it. You got to believe it and live by it, okay? You have to believe that evolution is the point of being on this earth, evolution. You are a spirit being. You take on a human vessel, and you have to learn how to be human, okay? And so this whole life is learning about how to be human as the spirit being that you are. You are a spirit being living in a human body. And so in order to learn how to be your fullest expression of spirit in your human body, you need to evolve. The way that you evolve is through your experiences. Through your experiences. And so if you know that human experiences are necessary, okay, then that also means human experiences are necessary in your relationships as well. And those experiences are necessary and may not be provided by you. The experiences are necessary and they may not be provided by you. But people still deserve their experiences, because the experiences expand us, and that's called evolution. You got to live by that. All right? You got to believe that people need their experiences. And when you start wanting, I'm talking about people who want to be polyamorous. I'm not debating with people who are monogamous, okay? You should be monogamous if that's what you want to be. All right? So, when you start wanting to restrict somebody's experiences, you are no longer operating by that belief. Okay? You're no longer operating by the belief that people are here to evolve. You are operating according to some other belief. And that's going to make you feel jealous. Okay? The next thing, does that make sense, y'all? Tell me if that makes sense. The next thing is, because you believe that people deserve their experiences and you may not be the one to provide the experience, and you gotta know that the fact that you're not providing an experience is not a negative reflection on you. I think these ideas are key even for monogamous people. Okay? I think even if you're monogamous, these ideas help you. Okay? And so it's no negative reflection on you if your person or persons want another experience. That doesn't mean you're lacking. Okay? So I can remember in one of my relationships when it was monogamous, this person was having an outside relationship. Y'all excuse me, I didn't mean to flash y'all. This person was having an outside relationship, and as soon as I found out, I went into this whole self-inquiry. What are they doing that I'm not doing? What do they have that I don't have? What is it? I began to absorb somebody else's desires as lack. Does that make sense? So when you take somebody else's desire for something other than yourself, then you're going to feel in lack, and you're going to be bothered and upset and be trying to fix things when there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Okay? This person wants experiences that, and here's the thing. Because when I found out that person was having those experiences, I said, I could have been doing the same thing, but no, I didn't. I chose to be loyal. That's it. I chose to be loyal because I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to do the same thing. And if I were to be honest, the thing that was so hurtful about that was that I was living my life in lack, not doing what I wanted to do for the sake of the relationship, and the other person was doing what they wanted. I began to put myself in a victim energy. Okay? All right? So, listen, let me tell y'all something. The other thing is that because this is not a negative reflection on you, there's nothing done wrong, and you don't face loss. You're not facing loss. But in monogamy, you could, like, if the person steps out, they might leave you for the person. That's what makes you feel some kind of way. If that person steps out, they might no longer want to share those things with you, so it results in lack feeling, right? Okay? But here in polyamory, we realize that there's nothing being done wrong, and there's no fear of loss. Hey, Smoke, thank you. There's no fear of loss. That immediately provides mental and emotional space. Because now you're not worried about your lack and what you're not giving and what they're doing and things like that. And you have a lot of free space within you. Even if you're monogamous, that's going to give you free space. Okay, so does that make sense? Are y'all still on the bus? I need to know. Tap the screen, say yes, something like that. If any of this makes sense to you and you want to work through it, I offer one-on-one coaching. I also have a free group on Facebook. Okay, so these are some of the key beliefs you have to have in order to move in polyamory. And if you don't have them, you're going to have a hard time, because polyamory doesn't mean that you're physical with everyone. That's a monogamous mindset. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay? All right. So the next thing you have to believe is that people do not belong to you. Okay? And you don't belong to anybody. But here's what happens. Yes, pass the offering plate, please. But here's what happens. We get in a relationship and the person commits, and we immediately move into possession. This is my such and such. And it's not that you're saying it's my such and such. It's the meaning that my such and such takes on. Have you ever been like in a relationship with somebody and it's been really good, and then as soon as you say you're in a relationship and call it something, something happens? What happens is the possession comes into play. Now you're mine, and being mine means you don't do what you want to do. You do what pleases me. And you do what pleases me even if you don't want to do that, even if you want to do something else. Getting in a relationship begins to mean self-sacrifice. This is how so many people get in relationships and they lose themselves, because they go in it with a sacrificial mentality. I need to sacrifice. I want to do this, but I can't do that in a relationship. Why not? Well, you can if you get with some people who are in agreement with you, okay? So my thing about polyamory is to be healthy and happy in it, because guess what? If you're not healthy and happy in your monogamous relationship and you multiply that by some individuals, you're going to be miserable because you don't know how to handle it. Okay, so you need to work on your emotional intelligence. You need to do your shadow work. All right, so because I don't own anybody, people have the right to make the decisions that they want to make. Okay, let me give you an example, Bailey. Let me give you an example. Okay, it's holiday time. It's holiday time, and couples everywhere are gearing up to spend time with family. And there's somebody somewhere that does not want to go to that family event with their spouse or a person. They don't want to go, but they've been going for years. And they've been going for years, dreading it, not looking forward to it. And they've been doing it because they believe love is sacrifice. The person wants them to go, so they're sacrificing, and they're becoming resentful. In relationships where possession and restriction come into play, people become resentful. Okay, so I had to learn that there is nothing wrong with saying, I don't want to visit your family's house. Not now and not ever. I don't want to. It's not my cup of tea. I don't enjoy it. I don't want to do that anymore. So for the holidays, this is what I'm going to be doing. But you go and enjoy it. You see? But how many of y'all on this live can't do that? You can't do that because you're busy sacrificing what you want for somebody else's desires, and it's not serving you. Am I telling the truth? Okay, so, it was a hard way to go when I said that. When I said that, it was arguments that came after. It was tension that came after. Guilting and shaming that came after. And it took a lot for me to say, I don't want to do that anymore. And in the monogamous framework, it's very scary. In a monogamous framework, there's a natural requirement for self-sacrifice on somebody's part. I can remember being in a relationship. I don't watch sports, y'all. Now, I know sports. I understand how to watch it. I know most of the basic rules, all right? I'm not going to be lost if I watch it. I just don't enjoy it. So I was dating a person or with a person who enjoyed sports. They wanted to watch it every Sunday. I didn't. So I said, I don't want to do that every Sunday, but you could go to the sports bar. You could do, watch the fights or whatever. I'm all right with that. I just don't want to. That person was upset. I do everything you want to do, but when it comes to me, you don't want to. Well, you can start saying no to me. How about that? Let's start that right now. You can say no to me also. Let's begin to give ourselves freedom to say no, even in monogamy, okay? Let's give ourselves freedom to say no, because as soon as you clamp down on a person's will, you begin to restrict the flow of the relationship. Okay, so in polyamory, when you move into polyamory, you kind of take that restrictive nature with you. You want people to do certain things, and you want to deem certain things not right for certain people. Listen, our ideals, our belief systems are to govern our lives, not other people's lives. If the person doesn't believe what I believe, this is what I'm going to ask myself. Can I coexist with this in peace? Okay? I'm not about to fuss at nobody and try to get nobody to see that what they believe is wrong, because what they believe is not wrong. It's wrong for me. And that's the key difference. Okay? So then I'm going to ask myself, can I coexist with this person, even knowing that we disagree in this area? Can I still honor them? Can I still move in respect and communication? Hey, New York. Can I still do that? So there's no more clamping. There's liberating. You're free to say no to me. You're free to say yes to me. But do it because you want to. I don't want you doing anything that you don't want to do for me. Because I want to get to know you. I don't want to get to know the you that you're going to be to please me, because eventually that's going to wash away. It's going to get old. It's going to get tiring. You're going to feel resentful. I don't want that. I want to know you, how you are, how you like to be, so that I can understand if I can coexist with that, and I'm going to do the same thing. So with poly, you have to really be deep in that thought process, because sometimes you're going to have a person who wants to spend the holidays with their other person, and you can't sit there pouting. In polyamory, you got to believe that you create your experiences, that you are responsible. Okay? Hey, Cameron, Michael, you got to believe that your happiness is your responsibility, and you can share it with other people. Okay? So if I really want to spend time with a person, but they're going somewhere else with somebody else, then I'm going to say to myself, okay, I cannot spend it with that person. Is there someone else or something else I would love to do? Right? These are attitudes you will have to have in polyamory. You can't just be like, well, they don't want to spend time with me, I'm going to go find me somebody else. That's not a polyamorous mindset. That's a person operating from lack. Okay? That plan A did not go as I wanted it to. What else do I want to create for this holiday season? Does this make sense? Okay? These are some of the key beliefs you need to have if you want to move into polyamory in a healthy way. There's a word called compersion. Compersion is said to be the opposite of jealousy. Jealousy is getting upset because somebody else is getting what you feel you deserve or want. Compersion is experiencing joy because your person is creating the experiences that they want. Okay? So let's start talking about the physical aspect, because that's where most people kind of park at, the physical part. And the reason is because one defining factor of a monogamous relationship is physicality. So the monogamous mindset makes us think relationship equals physicality. Yeah, I'm okay with that, New York, because somebody else asked before that. It wasn't just you. Thank you to all the people who subscribe to me, who support me financially. I love it. There's a button on my profile if you want to do that. Okay. So listen. Monogamous minds equate relationships with physicality. And if you're not having physicality, hey Chris, if you're not having physicality, then your relationship is in trouble. You're going to have problems, because in monogamy, a defining factor is that physicality. I'm saying that because I want to be good on the app. Okay? But in polyamory, physicality is not a defining factor for commitment. And see, yeah, that getting even mindset is a lack. Yeah, it's a lack mindset. Yeah. Okay. So, in polyamory, you are not focused on physicality in the same way a monogamous mind is. A monogamous mind is very jealous, very insecure, very possessive when it thinks that their person is being physical with someone else or emotional with someone else. Okay? But in a polyamorous way of living, you get in relationships for different reasons. And I want to talk about those reasons, because the monogamous mindset makes us be in a box. Either you're in a relationship or you're not. And if you're in a relationship commitment, then you better be being physical, because you ain't going to be physical with nobody else. Okay? But that's not how it goes in polyamory. Yeah, New York, not you, but I know people do think that, because as soon as I say I'm polyamorous, that's where they go. Okay, so it really wasn't about you. There was somebody else who asked about the physical part, and I was ready to move into it, and your question reminded me of it. Okay, does this make sense, y'all? So listen, in polyamory, you have relationships for different reasons, okay? So let's say you have a person and you love their mind. You just love their mind. And you love the way you articulate together, and you love what comes from them, and you love the exchange, and you just want to be around them all the time, but you're not that physically attracted. In monogamy, you can't have a relationship because you're going to say, nah, I can't be in a relationship with that person because I ain't physically attracted. That's what you would say in monogamy. And you would live in some kind of struggle with yourself because like you really like that person. Now, let's say you're in a monogamous relationship and you have this person and you just love their mind. You want to talk to them all the time. You want them to come over and things like that. You can't if you're with an insecure individual. And don't get too close because you're going to start creating trouble. In polyamory, you don't have to worry about that. You can love that person's mind and soak it up all you want. Okay? And you don't have to worry about the physical aspect. Hey, Joe. So it's perfectly fine for you to have a romantic relationship in polyamory and not be physical. And nobody's mad about it because we understand that that's not the type of relationship that we have. But in monogamy, you can't have that agreement. Somebody's going to be mad. The person whose mind that I love so much may not be the person heavily investing in me in any kind of way. We might not be spending a lot of quality time together. That's another defining factor of monogamy, is that you got to be spending the right amount of quality time. Yeah. And so the point I'm making is that polyamory is not physically focused. That's monogamy. Polyamory is not. Polyamory is giving you the ability to love more than one person in the way that you love them. And nobody's fussing about who you love more, who you love less, who you're doing for and you're not doing for, because we understand what kind of relationships these are. I might be super busy. I am super busy with my business and I homeschool. So I might not be the biggest supporter of somebody. They need support though. And I don't want to be responsible for their support because I'm busy. So they have somebody over there who is investing in them and they're going places and they're having a good time. And I don't feel that's a reflection, a negative reflection on me because I am busy and this person deserves to be supported. Okay? In polyamory, it's not called friends with benefits. You can actually have a committed partnership like that. Okay, because again, the benefits is the physical part. We're saying that this is not physical. Okay, it's more than a friendship, because don't you know there's some people in your life you're not just friends with them. You use that word, but you know you're not just friends with them. But you also understand that you're not getting in a relationship with them and you are not physical. I have a few people in my life like that. When we were talking today, and I said that I don't feel like we're just friends, and you don't feel like we're just friends, okay? But at the same time, we're not physical and we're not going to be, but I love being next to you. I love going out with you. I love cuddling and the way you hold me. We're just not about to go that route. That's what I'm talking about. This is romantic. This is not friendship. I don't do that with my friends. With my friends, I don't cuddle with my friends. And if you were honest, those friends that you cuddle with are more than just friends, but you keep using that friend word, and that's why the person you're in a relationship with be having a hard time. Hey, DJ. So, Now, this is the big one, okay? This is the big one. This is the big one. Let's say, y'all stay with me. Let's say there's a person, thank you, Ray, that you don't even want to talk to them that much. You don't want to talk to them that much. You don't want them around at your events. But you want to be physical because that thing got some energy that you like. In monogamy, you would say that's shallow. You would skate around that. You would still try to be with the person for other reasons. You wouldn't be able to be honest that we are together because we have this beautiful chemistry that I don't share with anybody else. And I love it. You can have that kind of relationship. You both understand what it is, and you're not trying to make it something that it's not. There's no pressure in the relationship, and you have done the appropriate amount of shadow work, so you don't feel shallow. You understand that that connection is life-giving. You understand that that connection is spiritual. You understand that it's never just this. You can have that kind of relationship. Here's another big one. Now, I just told you that all the kinds of relationships don't involve physicality, but they do involve an element of romance. So this is different than friends. Okay? In polyamory, we have different words. We don't just have to say everybody is your friend. Like these days, when somebody says my friend, you have to go, what kind of friend? Like a friend or friend? You can get in a committed partnership with people. Hey, S Smooth. Okay, so then there's the relationship with the person that you build with, the person you may own land with, the person you may build businesses with, the person you may have children with, the person you may choose to marry. That's a different kind of relationship. Right? And the thing is that when you no longer have the desire to be physical in that foundational relationship, you don't have to break it up. In monogamy, when that relationship goes without physicality, somebody's going to be ready to go. Y'all going to be in therapy and doing all these things. But when you have that kind of relationship and it shifts, you had too many. Hey, princess. When that foundational relationship shifts, you don't have to experience loss. You don't have to divorce if you don't want to. Because we all have these belief systems. The relationship has shifted. How do we need to transition into something that works for us? I'm talking about committed romantic partnerships. Okay? So that person you live with, but you are not physical anymore and you don't want to break up the relationship for whatever reason. People swear because I'm polyamorous that I be connecting all across the board. I do not. But even if I did, that would be my business. But I don't. All right. So these are all the foundational mindsets about poly that you would need to be healthy in it. The way you have a polyamorous relationship is you discuss what kind of relationship is this? How are we going to navigate it? And what do we call it? Okay. Once we decide what kind of relationship this is and we both feel good about it and we make it to that point, then commitment to me means that I'm going to be present with you. You have my emotional support. You have my mental presence. You have whatever we agreed that we're going to have together. I'm committed to growing with you. I'm committed to growing with you. And more importantly, I'm committed to my own evolution. Okay? Whatever that looks like. I'm committed to that. So how do you meet a person? Good question. So I've been a part of polyamorous groups across social media, and I didn't have a good time in them because they're not emotionally intelligent. So I formed my own group. It's called Center for Polyamorous Community and Education on Facebook. It's not a dating group, but you do meet people there. And the people there have similar mindsets as what I'm talking about, because we go through group education together. I'm live in there. I'm asking questions and answering questions. And so the people in my group generally have similar mindsets. But I've seen some wildness in poly also. So every polyamorous person is not thinking like this, right? The ones that want to be healthy and happy, emotionally intelligent, they're thinking like this. Learning these ways of thinking can greatly influence positively your monogamous relationships. Okay, thank y'all so much for subscribing. TikTok has given a feature called subscribe. You can subscribe. I think it's $5.99 a month. And it's your way of saying thanks. Like if these things help you, some people don't want to come to coaching or they don't want to join a group, but they are being benefited. So that's why you tap the screen, TikTok gives, and also subscribe. So the people who are subscribing have the yellow indication next to their name, and I appreciate you so much. I want to remind you that I offer one-on-one coaching. Okay, so if some of these topics hit you a certain place, if you want to work through some shadow work, if you deal with jealousy and resentment right now and you're monogamous, we could still talk about that. I'm not trying to convert anybody to poly. I'm just giving you information. I believe in monogamy too. I believe that people can be healthy in monogamy as well. And many of these concepts can translate over.